Did Xisco Munoz get a taste of what it might be like working for Dejphon Chansiri next season? The Sheffield Wednesday chairman had quite a lot to say at his new manager's unveiling yesterday, and not all of it was about his new manager.
I don't understand how you try to say you love this club, right? But you always try to damage. For me, I think when we do well in the past, I never seen him come out. When we start to do bad, you come out because you know the fan gonna go with you to attack me. For me, I think he just want to get attention. Maybe no one think about him, try to get attention more important. I think he have a problem with mentality. So whatever he say, because the fan like him, so he can say whatever make people believe. But a few legends, since I'm here, I mentioned many times, never be my legend. Always create trouble. If he think he say the true story, everything good, I'm invite him to come to talk with me face to face, in front of the fan, in front of journalists. If whatever he say the truth, then he gonna damage me more. Don't hide behind social media or everything. Even the fan, whoever are always negative, come, then you can damage me more. I always welcome, but never come. Right? Don't be good only behind the scene, right? Be a man or be a lady, right? I'm always here, always open. Don't just keep saying.
Well, that went on for about 4.5 minutes. We've cut it down to the best bits. Is there a time and place for owners to voice to protect their clubs?
Yeah and no. I mean, look, with the greatest, God love Carlton Palmer, but if I'm the chairman of a football club, I wouldn't be giving Carlton Palmer that much attention. I have used press conferences when I've appointed managers to turn it onto an onslaught onto the media. Right. And turn around about you lot get on my nerves, you do report things the wrong way, this that, and the other. And I've had people like Peter Taylor or Neil Warnock sitting there going, is that really necessary, Chairman? Yeah, it is, because the media get on my bleeding nerves. But in this instance, I'm sure Carlton will have something to say about it. But the point is that I'm not entirely sure that that's the space and place. You've got a guy sitting there in a football club that's been appointed the manager, waiting for his chairman to finish on a rant. I'm not sure it's that constructive, really.
He was sitting there looking at his watch, looking rather stony-faced, probably thinking to himself, is this what I've walked into? But, you know, he has every right to turn around and defend his club if he thinks it's under attack.
Well, he's not defending his club, he's defending himself.
Well, let's see who he's defending himself against. Carlton Palmer, the former Sheffield Wednesday midfielder, joins us on the line now. What did you make of the rant, Carlton?
Well, I was down at my mum and dad's yesterday. My dad's got dementia, so I go down there and help him out and help for the day. And then my mum's going to me, Carlton, your phone's bleeping and ringing and then I obviously found out about it. And like Simon said, right, listen, there's a time and a place. I felt sorry for Xisco. You know, all he had to do is, if the reporters asked him about Darren Moore, he says, right, listen, we're not Darren Moore, we've moved on from that. Darren Moore's now left the football club. We're here to talk about Xisco and him taking the manager's role and going forward with the football club. But obviously he's hit a nerve and the chairman's gone on the rant that he's gone on with. Simon, you know, listen, how many times have I been on the show, bigging up Sheffield Wednesday, bigging up Sheffield United, promoting the club and being positive and whatever. So to say that I'm pulling the club down and trying to pull him down, I find you know, quite insulting, really.
Well, he says you don't say anything positive and you only ever pipe up when there's something negative to do, and you do it just to amplify your own position. Is that fair comment from him, do you think?
Well, how can he say that? What has happened now that's been negative? Sheffield Wednesday have just got promoted to the Championship. It's positive news for the football club. Everybody was excited about the situation. The only negativity has come around has been about the Darren Moore leaving the football club, of which he's taken offence about. When all I've said is this, and I stand by what I've said. If you've made a statement that you've mutually agreed to go your separate ways, you and Darren Moore. That's what you've said. You've then come out and made another statement because you've been criticised about Darren Moore leaving the club, saying that he's left for, because he's been offered 4 times his salary. So I've come out and said, well, hang on a minute, Mr. Chairman, if you're going to come out and say that, you have to quantify that, because you've got the supporters in Sheffield. I live in Sheffield. One of the reasons I stayed in Sheffield is because they're a great set of people. They're loyal people, right? That's one of the reasons I'm saying there. So before they can make an informed decision, give them the full facts. 4 times of what? Right. And, that might be a negotiation point or whatever. So if you're going to say, you're going to come out and say, right, Darren Moore, as you've insinuated that basically...
Carlton, come on now. Listen, yeah. I haven't heard you say anything particularly negative on the shows that we've done. You've always been incredibly supportive of it. But if this was any other Sheffield Wednesday manager, you wouldn't have the same level of investment in what was happening with him and why it was happening as you do with Darren. And the reasons why you were investing in Darren is because he's your mate. And so there was an element of the chairman going, you know what, Carlton, Simon, why don't you mind your own business?
Oh, 100%, Simon. I wouldn't have the same. It's the same for you, Simon. If somebody was to criticise you in front of me and I knew different, then I would stick up for you. So that is it. If I didn't know the person, obviously I wouldn't say anything. So I've made a comment. He's taken, I'll be honest with you, he's reached out to me this morning. And a meeting's been set up for me and him to have a discussion. But at the end of the day, I will always be. I've always been that type of person. I'm a loyal person. I stick up for my friends, and I feel that he's thrown Darren on the bus by making a public statement insinuating that Darren is being greedy, and that's the reason why he's left the football club.
So, what do you expect to get out of this meeting that is now set, and when is it set for?
Well, he's the one who said in the meeting, in his press conference yesterday, he wanted to meet me and that I wouldn't go. He's called me, or he's got his man to call me today, and I've said yes, I'm happy to go to a meeting. Obviously, we can't discuss anything about Darren because that's been dealt with by the LMA, and that's private business. So we'll have the meeting. I'll see what he's got to say. I will still say my piece to him in his face, but what I don't like is he's criticising me of being negative about the football club. I've been far from that, but I'm entitled to my opinion, and my opinion's coming from an informed and from a position of knowledge.
Well, it's coming from a position of knowledge based upon the information that Darren's given you. He may have, there's 2 sides of every single story, but would you prefer to have this conversation, because he suggested that the conversation could be had in the public domain, would you prefer to have this conversation in front of an audience of fans, given the fact he's made a 4-act play about your opinions?
We'd be happy to host it for you.
Or would you rather have it on the QT? I think you'd probably rather have it in the public domain, wouldn't you?
Well, actually, Simon, I said the other. I said I'd rather have it in behind closed doors, because the problem is, right, if the issue that he's got is about Darren Moore, I can't discuss that in the public domain.
Well, the only reason I would suggest it, because if we've got a version of events that was being advanced by this fella, and I've heard various things in over the years, and the football world, as you know, has got 2 big commodities: gossip and money, and there's lots of things that are said about him in terms of the manner in which he operates. Given the nature of the fact that there may only be one side to this story, there may actually be the version that you have from Darren is most likely to be factual. Given this guy's propensity to be able to represent things the way he wants to represent things, if you have a meeting on the QT, the only thing that's ever going to happen in that meeting is it's going to be a meeting in the QT.
And then he'll spin it the way he wants to.
And then he'll spin it the way he wants to spin it.
And everybody gets the version of events that is given to them. It might be a better idea for you to do it in public.
Well, I've never really thought about it
Call
like that.
Bluff, Carlton. Call his bluff. You got the chops to you got the chops to handle him in the public domain. You don't have to get into the specifics of what the LMA are negotiating for his settlement from Sheffield Wednesday or whatever else is going on there. You can address the subject matter of the main accusation, which is you've been accused of having a consistent and perpetual campaign of being negative towards the football club. And you're going to be able to counter that by being able to put him back in his seat and say that's fundamentally inaccurate. You just don't like the fact I support my friend.
Carlton, there's a few text messages that are coming into the the studio here, saying, Andy and Rotherham, one of them saying, sorry, Carlton, I'm not a rabid Chansiri fan, but we've all heard from you over the course of the last few years. You're slagging the chairman off recently. You're 100% Darren Moore's mate, and all you're doing is damaging the club by sticking up for him publicly. How hard must it be for Chansiri to get a new manager when you're piping off about stuff you don't personally know about?
He does. He does know.
Well, personally don't know about, I know, right? So let's go with that. It's hard for him to get another manager because of exactly what he did yesterday, right? Now, Mr. Chansiri micromanages the football club, every kind of detail within the football club, and that's his right, that's his football club, right? But I've come out and said what I've said, but I've also come out, as Simon will allude to, where I've been super positive about the club, super positive about when the club's doing really well, and I was so excited about us getting promotion, so excited about looking forward to the new season, and he's put a dampener on it. And on a press conference where he's brought in a new manager, the poor manager sat there while he's ranting on about me, instead of when he should be going on about the future of the football club.
Well, let's see what happens next, Carlton. We're quite happy tomorrow morning. If you two want to meet via talkSPORT, we're happy to host it for you. It'll be interesting to listen to both points of view, and we do appreciate you giving us the time this morning.
No, it's my pleasure. But now Simon said that, I will go back and say, let's make it a public forum. Let's bring it on.
Let's go. We'll do it.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.